Welcome to Talk Party Live. We chopping it up, parlaying, catching vibes. D-Max your host and she's talking about the subjects that people won't even touch on, but she ain't afraid to speak on. Hey, we talking about marriages, relationships, dating, mental health, and them badass preachers' kids. Yo, domestic violence and adoption, and does the LGBTQ have heaven as an option? Woo. Right here on Talk Party Live with your host D-Mac. Talk Party Live. We talking, we partying, we getting live. Talk Party Live.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk Party Live. Actually, it's the finale episode. We're going to be talking about dating in the black community. What is the fucking problem? Why is it so hard? Why is it so laborious? Why is it so draining? Why is it so short? Why doesn't anything ever really last? What has happened from generations past till now? So we think about our grandparents, and it's like they were together from teenage to death. Like those vows really meant something, right? It was, or for the most part. I'm not gonna say everybody's grandparents stayed together because I mean the truth of the matter is the divorce rate is above 50%. So 1 out of 2 marriages end in divorce today. I don't know what the statistics were back generations ago. However, it seemed that a lot of relationships lasted longer. They were based on like fundamental principles, working together, whether it was the woman in the home and the man at work, and then when times change, you know, you got the 2 people bringing in 2 incomes. However, but what, like today, even me, I'm single. I'm not gonna tell my age, even though most people know, but I'm old, older. But it's so crazy. I'm like, I don't even know the terminology to use anymore. It's like, so we don't call them girlfriends, like we call them breezies, like what we call them? I don't know.
Friends.
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 That's the problem. Bitch, or you my, it's like the terminology has changed, but is it because the respect level has changed?
Yes.
You with the
Yes. That is what it is.
Oh,
I'm for your girlfriend. Exactly.
right.
What she say?
When you with the fellas, it's your bitch. But when y'all explain anything, it's my bitch, it's bitch, this bitch.
No disrespect.
You don't do that in front of, you know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect thing for us.
Right.
So, but when you with your fellas, it's your bitch. When you with your homies and your girls, though, it's your
It's
My
my lady, my wifey, or
I say my female. I say my female.
Or my woman.
So why a woman gotta be a bitch to your homeboy, but what do you call a woman to your mama?
we gonna get there.
The same thing. I say the same thing. My mama said the same thing.
This is what I'm talking about. But listen, come on. This is what I'm talking about. Like the terminology has changed, and it's to us as older, Tiff. Older to us is disrespectful. To these girls now, it's a term of fucking endearment. You know
Absolutely
what I'm saying? But so I'm trying to figure out what is the problem. Why is it so hard to date in 2021? Like, what is the problem? Is it because
Everybody's standards different.
I'm gonna get you on the mic. I promise you I am. I want you on the mic because you is it because people misrepresent themselves, the whole representative syndrome? Is it because we have a particular type and we limit our opportunities? Is it because we have unrealistic expectations of our partner based on their ability to do? Because we can have expectations of a motherfucker and they ain't capable of doing that. You really setting that nigga up for failure or fail, right? So, or is it because on the women's end, is it because we've become so independent to where we don't need a nigga? Or we don't need a bitch? Or we don't, I'm using your new term. Or is it because the culture has now become a hookup culture? Like today it doesn't seem like the goal is, or the end goal is relationship. Today it seems like the end goal is
Sex.
hook up with as many as people as you can hook up with, right?
That's when you
It's a
say
hookup culture. It's like, yeah, we did what we did, we blah blah blah, but that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? But what I found though is that women are doing it so much more now than men. Like men don't even know how to handle a woman and dismiss him after sex. It's like, I'll call you. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead. But niggas be like, what? Hold on. Honestly. So, or is it that we are in too much of a hurry to achieve the end goal that we don't do our due diligence to take the time to get to know each other or recognize the red flags along the way, and we end up in a situation that is short-lived, right? Or could it be social media? Is that a problem?
Yes.
Is dating apps a problem? Because like with social media, to be frank, you're meeting people based on superficiality. I sat in the car with a girl one time, I swear to God, this shit amazed the hell out of me. We on our way to a date, she just click, 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 click in the passenger seat, just click, 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 click. I'm like, what are you doing? I gotta get the right pose for me, so I can figure out which one to post. You got 100 motherfucking clicks. You know what I'm saying? And so you get that one perfect vantage point, and you post that shit, and then when a nigga see you from the front, it's a whole different piece of the puzzle. It's like, well, who are you? You know what I'm saying? It just be like the fakery is so real on social media. It's like, okay, and then you got the dating app. So we're really not trying to get to know a person because you're judging them based off of a picture, right? Profile picture, swipe right, swipe left, right? How much the fuck can you tell from one picture? You might eliminate a possibility because you swipe it to left. You know what I'm saying? Or you might present yourself with a whole problem if you swipe right just based upon what you see, right? What's the problem? Is it that you got too many people out here wanting to be Build-A-Bears? Is it that you have too many people out here that are, candidates for the rescue mission? Versus somebody that's bringing something to the table to build with? You understand what I'm saying? Like, dating is just so fucked up. Like, I swear to God, I'd just rather be single. I'd rather be single because you don't really, people have motives, they have intentions, and you might be pure, they might be pure, you might not. There have been times when people came to me like real sincere, and I'm just, what? I'll call you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta make sure that, in dating, you gotta make sure you're on the same page. Okay, so what I wanna do, I wanna talk to my panel. I wanna introduce them first. I have my homegirl Danielle, I have my homeboy Josh, I have his lady Janae. I hope this conversation does not lead to any arguments later. No, I'm just playing. So like, Danielle is of the LGBT community. What do you perceive to be one of the biggest issues in dating in the Black LGBT community?
My main thing, I think everybody is on two different times. So I think when two people come together, I think this person wants this person wants that, but nobody is willing to compromise on what you want to build for together. So I think it's just kind of miscommunication, and people want two different things, and they don't know how to combine them together for it to work. They don't want to put that time and effort into it. So that's one of the things I think is making it hard to date in the Black community.
Is there anything that's specific to the LGBT community dating that makes it even more difficult, or is it just basically the same?
I think it's the same.
What do you think, Josh? What do you think is one of the biggest issues or roadblocks to having a successful dating relationship? successful being the key.
I can talk for that, but so I think it got a lot to do with learned behavior. So as a man, and I ain't gonna speak for all men, but the majority of men that I know, you kind of grow up a certain way, learning from whoever, you know what I'm saying, whether it's your brothers growing up in, you know what I'm saying, growing up in the streets, hooping, or your basketball team, your parents, your dad, you know what I'm saying, your grandparents. So you kind of learn from some man figure, some masculine figure that's in your life. And you learn based on how they grew up. And my pops, for example, that's kind of how I learned. And my pops was always trying to be kind of not like his pops, which is my granddad, who has been married for 25 years, 74 kids, all that, you know, all that shit you was talking about. That's how that is. They also very spiritual, go to church every Sunday, don't miss one Sunday type of shit. My dad was like, all right, well, I like some of that, but I want to steer away, a little bit to the left. So my dad did his own thing, and he got married one time when I was growing up, got divorced. He didn't get married again until I was going to college. So growing up, I saw my mom going in and out of a relationship. I saw my dad go in and out of a relationship. What's a relationship mean?
Right. What is a relationship?
And that's just a man. So like, my mom raised me. They wasn't together, but my dad was for sure a part of my life. But that's what I saw. So learn behavior. Whether I'm an engineer, so whether you want to do hands-on things, whether you want to be a teacher, you watch people teach, whether you want to fucking be a football coach or say gymnastics, or you want to do hair, you kind of probably watched it from somebody, or somebody helped you do that. And in my experience, I wasn't really taught how to be in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no prime examples. Ain't nobody take no time to sit down like, look, treat a woman like this, big homie. You know what I'm saying? Call her your bitch, call her your wife. Like, ain't nobody say none of that. Open it up. That was it. Chivalry. That was it. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's why not most men, but men that I know, they ain't really have no good foundations. Because if they did, they could either make the choice that I want to do that or I don't. See, I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
I ain't have no temper.
Okay.
But I'm making the choice like I want to do it, but what am I doing?
Right.
Figuring it out.
And how do I do it?
How I do it.
Trial and error.
Whereas if I had somebody that was a role model, I was like, this is how I do it. You know what I'm saying? Not no granddad that got 74 kids, that been there for 50 years. But look, you can still be, you know what I'm saying, y'all age, do y'all thing, and then get in a relationship and treat a woman this way. This is how you do it. But shit, I'll be in a relationship with at an earlier age.
So you one of the biggest problems with dating today is not having an example of what dating looked like yesterday. That's a problem.
Because that was your question. Your question was like, why can't we go back to how I used to be?
Yeah, like what's different now? But is it that it's different, or is it that they were more tolerant? Is it that the women were more accepting of the bullshit and tolerated the bullshit for the sake of being in a family because the man was the breadwinner? Was it the fairy tale relationship that we were aspiring to, or was it the pretentious fuck shit that we didn't know about? You know what I'm saying? Is it that they was it all that we thought it was? Right? That it lasted, but do relationships just last just to last, or do they last because they're healthy? Do they last because they're happy? Or do people just stay because that's the thing to do? I think back then, generations ago, people stayed because that's the thing to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Now we have become so independent in thought to where it's like, nigga, I'm not accepting that girl, you got me fucked up.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we move on so fast to the next motherfucker because we have understood our worth.
Yes.
Right?
Or so you thought. Or so you thought.
Honestly, that's what I think. It's like,
So you thought.
I will meet people and I will unmeet the hell out of them.
Hell yeah.
Because I realize my worth. Not just my worth, but I realize whether or not we're capable of being compatible. I have to assess that along the way and say, is this something I can deal with for life? And it's bothering me now?
That's real.
You understand what I'm saying? So we quick to be like, nigga, my peace of mind is everything. Fuck you, fuck the horse you came in on, and you can keep galloping on along the way to find the next victim. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think we have become an intolerant generation. That's what I think. I think we are so intolerant of the bullshit to where there's the first sign of it, we out.
Yes.
Janae.
You just said me.
What do you think, from a feminine perspective. I could offer feminine perspective.
Of course, it's a good balance.
No, but what do you, from a feminine perspective, think is the holdup or the block? Is something that's keeping dating relationships from either sustaining or going any further?
The first one is just knowledge of self. I feel I'll speak for men first. Just what I see is that, kind of with Josh, that I would like to add, men, they don't have that example, or they have it, and it's a little skewed. But then we have media. We have social media, we have the news, we have magazines, we have the internet. They're all telling you how to be, how to look, how to sound, how to dress, what's cool, what's in, what's not. Dior, Versace. That's what you have to wear,
That's
right?
what you gotta do.
That's what they're telling you should be as a man, right? So that's what you internalize. On top of music, you know, we don't have these figures to tell us that that's just a song, bro. That's not real life. Fuck these hoes, fuck that bitch. That's your life. Because you're listening to it. So you don't have an influence telling you that's not real life. So you don't have a sense of self because you listen to these songs, to your bros, to your uncle that hasn't had anything stable, parents that may not have anything stable. You may have never seen a real woman before, or you don't respect your mom. So you don't have anything to go for yourself. Also, I feel as though, like, if you constantly look into other people, you don't have that knowledge of self. If you're not really spending time with you, by yourself, with your creator, I believe in God. So if you're not feeding yourself with the word or with God or just being by yourself, you don't even know who you are. Because everybody else is telling you who to be, how to act. For a woman, yeah, you don't have an identity outside of who somebody else is telling you to be. What to wear, how to dress, what's cool. I think for women, I always say, does the gift buy the buyer? No.
That's heavy. Say
Does
that
the
again.
gift
Say it again.
Say that
Does
again.
the gift buy the buyer?
I got a debate.
So I'm a nice, pretty, fly
debate
at
that.
the store. You know, I have no name on me. I'm just a pretty nice thing at the store. I'm not walking up to Josh saying, buy me, buy me, buy me. I'm already the gift. You come into the store to find me. So I feel like a lot of women, for whatever reason, we don't know that we are the prize because of media. So we on Instagram trying to get the right selfie. We are buying these clothes that society say we should wear. We are accepting less than what we deserve because nobody told us you are the prize, sweetheart. You don't have to deal with that, sweetheart. Or you could just get humbled. You may think you're the prize and then you in a bad situation to be a testimony to somebody else. But you have to know who you are first in order to receive that and learn and grow. But really it's knowledge of self. On top of not knowing who we are as black people, that's a whole nother thing. But knowledge of self.
I think knowledge of self, and I think that's another part of the dating problem, and I completely agree with everything you just said. But knowledge of self also comes with time in between dating ships, situationships, relationships. Like sometimes we go from one to the next because we need a Band-Aid to be a salve for whatever it is we're missing, and we don't take the time to introspect. We don't take the time to deal with us. We don't take the time to actually get to know us in and out of that situation. And so consequently, we go into the next situation with the same bullshit, with the same unhealthy traits, with the same ineffective qualities and communication, and we wonder why the shit is short-lived. Because we don't take the time, one, to heal, and we also don't take the time to, damn, what was my part of it? Where did I go wrong? What could I have done better? What can I do better before the next situation happens? And not just jump in the situation and try to figure that shit out again in the process. Where's the young man that was at the mic? I really wanted his comment. Come here. Speak directly into the microphone.
I speak directly in the mic, but when she said about relationships and what your mom been through, you don't know what your mom put you through over the years. So that comment, I feel like it was just disregarded. It didn't make sense to me.
Which
you don't know what
was
some
that?
parents put you through.
Me?
Yes.
What you I'm sorry, could you repeat or
When you
rephrase?
commented about your mother
My mom?
No, the gift is the prize.
or whatever.
Oh.
The gift buys the buyer or something
Well,
like
my
that.
mom, I didn't learn until I was older. My mom, she's been proposed to three times. 3 different men were like, I want to marry you. But all I saw as a kid was that they did something, and she packed up her stuff while they were at work, and she was gone.
I feel
So in my brain, if a man does something you don't like, you don't have to stay. But as a 26-year-old woman, she was like, Janae, I went through some stuff to get to that point. It wasn't just you can't just leave at the first conflict.
Right.
I went through some stuff. But
I
as a
feel you.
kid, my parents didn't, it wasn't women
You
around.
didn't know the process.
My dad wouldn't let women talk to me. It's plenty women here that will tell you I wasn't able to speak to you when I went to your games, or I wasn't able to come in your home when you were there. My parents were like, this is a precious thing, don't touch her, don't talk to her, leave her alone. So that's all I knew.
I feel you. That's different in different, you feel me, households.
Yeah.
But back to relationship stuff. I feel like it's a lot about miscommunication too. Facts. Miscommunication leads to a lot of things and how people act. That's just with the young people. And trust me, I'm going through it now, but it's just a lot of miscommunication. You really gotta understand your partner. But the stuff that people be on now, you gotta match their energy.
So how
But
do you
even though
think
two
the
negatives don't make a
communication
wrong,
can
but still,
improve?
you feel me? That's what makes me feel better. I'm on what you on.
How do you think the communication can improve?
I don't know, we young, so we
still
very
learn.
hot-headed, and you feel me? It's just a lot of miscommunication. We really miscommunicate each other, and it depends how people is and how they really is under their skin and what people say. You feel me? And trust me, it's just what people say and miscommunication. Once again,
Appreciate it.
you ask me. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody else have? Come on to the mic, Ari. Come to the mic, Ari. We gotta be able to hear you, girl.
Big.
Anybody else that want to line up for a comment about what's difficult and why it's difficult? Please line up, and we're gonna.
I'm used to being live. Okay, like for real. So on my end, I want to understand, like when you feel a void from a parent. So I have my mom, but I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
Always felt a void of my actual father.
Okay.
So how do you know what's the right man for you, or what type of man to look for, anything like that, when you always had this own void with your actual father? Like, I sat down and talked to my grandfather about different things. That's my road dog. My granddad is my heart. He talked to me about any and everything. But yeah, he could teach me about different men and things like that, but I still felt a void with my own father. My father been in and out of my life before I was born. We tried to have a communication when I was 26. Not trying to say my age now, but it's just, it's hard. So now I feel like, I deal with people in the situations of my father, incarcerated type thing.
Okay.
How do I get out of that situation in order to feel, not feel the void, or, understand what a man is supposed to be for me? If I've never had that connection, I've never had a two-parent household.
Right.
It can be hard for, some type of people to actually feel that when you never had that.
I feel you.
So where do you get that from?
I think that because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about my son.
Absolutely.
Who's adopted, right? And his biological father is not in his life, nor is there a man in my life to fit those shoes. You understand what I'm saying? And so I feel it, and you're making me really think ahead. What I've done with him is made sure that I've had sound, positive role model men, strong men around him that can teach him what men do. Even if they're not literally sitting them down and lecturing him, just watching those men is going to give him an indication of what men are supposed to do. I, as a woman, even though I identify as a woman, but I'm a more masculine woman,
Right.
I'm not one of those ones that believe, oh, I'm a man, I can teach you how to be a man. No, I have made it my business to surround him with me, right? so that he gets an idea. A lot of times the biological male example is not available. And I don't know who's at my house at this hour. We're gonna keep going. My son will call. I just think it's important to continue to cultivate that relationship with your grandfather, because I know your grandfather, and that is a real man, and that is a real family man. He's a man with principles and ideals, and so when you start looking at men and you measuring them up against something, measure them up against him.
And I've tried that.
Not your daddy.
And that's where the problem came in, because I have that void.
And it's okay.
I still have that
understand. Yeah, please, as a man,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna shut up and let a man speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I would keep your morals, keep your values, but truly limit your expectations. Come in open-minded, meaning instead of, I wonder, like, for example, you might have been missing something in your life that you will wish you could have had from a man.
Right.
And you might be like, well, when I get a man, I hope they can cut the grass, or whatever that is that you might feel like you might be missing.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having that expectation that this man gonna come in and feel that, let your life happen. Let it happen. Gravitate towards it. And that man gonna change your life in ways you can't even expect. Now, he might not fill the void of your dad per se, but he's gonna fill the void of a man in your life that you haven't had in his own little way. So I'm just saying, come in with no expectations. Like, to go in.
And I go with that quote, expect the unexpected. Because you never know what you're going to expect when you're dealing with a person.
So I talked to a girl that, in college that,
Before you
I'm going to get off this mic because you about to start something.
I talked to a girl in college that lost both of her parents.
Okay.
And she was really up and down. She couldn't find her level. She couldn't find her alley, her lane to just kind of ride in. And it was because she was looking for those fillers from all these different places instead of truly just letting life fill them. They're going to fill them as you go through life. You're going to get those filled. She don't talk to me no more. She getting married. She got her own little thing, but that's because she let go of trying to, well, I think I might need this because I ain't had this in my life. Or I wish I could get this from that. To let everything kind of happen, and you'll realize, like, damn, God or whoever you believe in put this puzzle piece in that place for you, and you're like, damn, I got that. That void was kind of filled for me. Like, it wasn't my dad per se, but it was somebody I can call on and be like, hey, what up, though? Can you give me this advice or so? No expectations, like, not no expectations, but limit them and just, you know what I'm saying, rock with it. See what happens.
I think you also need to recognize, like he said, first of all, ain't no man out here about to fill the void of your father.
Absolutely not.
Don't even, because you setting that man up for complete failure.
You're going to fall short real short.
You understand what I'm saying? There's no way he can come in and satisfy that empty place, because that's a different type of relationship.
Impossible.
You understand what I'm saying? That type of love is a love that he can't give you. And so it's always going to be empty. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to come up short because he's not your father. So he doesn't know how to love you as your father. He's trying to love you as your mate. He will never measure up to the father piece. He's always going to fail. So that's what you're measuring him against. Don't do it. Bring it down a notch and let that man be who he is and who he can be to you as a man, not as a replacement of your father.
That's the thing. I'm not looking for somebody to fill the void of my father. But at the same time, what respect do I have for myself when these men are out here messing around with so many different women, and they can't even give you the respect to let you know, like, you know, hey,
They don't have to.
Keep moving.
I'm dealing with this person and this person.
You gotta realize your worth.
Exactly, and then I walk away with the I'm the one in the wrong. Like, well, wait.
No, you're not in the wrong. You're in the run in the wrong because they're not able to acknowledge their wrong.
Right.
Don't internalize that because that's what they say. Don't internalize that and make that your perception of your own self. You wanna,
but that's why it becomes hard to me in dating in this community. Because so many people have so many different standards. So many people accept so many different things, and when you don't allow it, or you feel like you're speaking up for yourself, then people will try to turn that shit around on you and make it all about you and you being wrong.
But
and
let them do
what
that.
I'm saying?
You don't internalize that. Let them do that and keep on moving with that. And you don't internalize that and you keep on looking for what you need. That's
It's gonna find you, actually. It's gonna find you.
It's not a reflection of you.
Right.
It's a reflection of their inability or incapability.
How do you find the right person?
And I'm gonna just say this and get off this mic.
No, I want to speak for you.
Oh, you want to speak to me?
Out of experience. So my daddy is out of his mind. My daddy is not a good person. He's a great father.
Okay.
My daddy is. Come on now. My daddy is. He has some issues, right? And we didn't talk for a long time. I'm talking about like all through college. I wasn't talking to him. He couldn't text me, call me, nothing. I just spoke highly. I wasn't talking to him. And it wasn't until me and Josh got serious, I was like, hey, we going to the Bulls game. We need to see you. You have to heal whatever it is with your daddy in order to open your heart a little bit.
I tried that.
So, accept. It don't work all the time.
It don't.
Right? So you have to be, he's a person. That's a person with
He's
their
a
own.
human being, absolutely.
So then you have to work on healing you. Because you talking about men and what they do, they don't have to tell you who they sleeping with or who texting their phone or none of that. Because we feel so entitled, like you need to love me, you need to do this. They don't have to do that. You have to set up your standards to say, I'm not really dealing with that. I don't really like that. It's gonna be somebody out there that fits your standards. But you, daddy not shit, cool. What do I want to be? What kind of man do I want? Look at your granddaddy, understand that your dad is not going to fill that void. Me and my dad are cool now. He's still not filling that void. It's never going to be filled. Whatever you thinking a person can do, they will never fill the void. I'm looking at you, they're never going to do it. Figure out what you want and what you desire and allow somebody to do them. Also understand they're human, they have their own stuff, and be flexible.
That's what we gotta do.
Daddy's just not shit. It's okay.
And I think you just made a good point though. I think sometimes we think about how we feel, how we're affected, what's happening on the inside of us, and we're not really regarding all the things that this person is bringing with them to the table.
Yeah.
All the damage that has happened in their life, all the hurt that has happened in their life. Are they healed? Can they? Do they have the capacity to give you what you need if they're unhealed? But then the problem is we don't give enough time to a situation to assess it fully before we start having expectations of a person that we're not even clear if they're capable of giving us.
And life will humble you quick.
Young man, come back to the mic. I need to hear from you.
Raquel.
No.
Raquel.
Go, bro. Check it out.
Hey, y'all. So I know y'all probably don't know me, but my name is Raquel Tramell, and like you said, I got a podcast called Miss Mouthy. Two things. My point is married with generational curses, because that's one thing that came up in a conversation, is that like single mothers have to stop diminishing young black boys, right? Like it has to stop being what you cannot do and policing them in a way of sharing their feelings and not being open. So then when they get with a woman, they can't express how they feel or communicate their feelings internally. Then as fathers or even still as single black women, stop telling your young girls you're a fast ass little girl or you're gonna get pregnant in interest that you know somebody's gonna find your young girl beautiful. So my second point is about words. I think as black people, we don't affirm ourselves enough. Where like every day you should be telling yourself something positive about yourself. You should be telling your kids something positive, your niece, your nephew, whoever are those young kids that's gonna grow up to be versions of yourself, you gotta tell them that, because oftentimes you get in these things where you're adults and now you don't understand why he calling you out your name, and you normalize that because at a young age this is what people told you.
Right.
But the reality of the situation when it comes to dating is that you don't have to be a version of all those people, right? Like being a trans woman is definitely hard, but the stigma that comes with it, it doesn't lower my standards. Like if a person don't see value in me or you want to go do whatever you want, cool, no problem. The businesses still gotta run. The way I show up in the world still has to run, and regardless of that, like I don't set my standard off of somebody's feelings towards me. That's all I'm gonna say with that.
Thank you. Thank you, Raquel.
Say it.
Come on, Tiff. What you got to say, Tiff? Tiff about to let y'all have it, just so you know.
So first off, I was raised by my grandfather. My father wasn't there. I didn't meet him until I was 23. So I have always, when it comes to relationships, is treat me the way I want to be treated. Treat me the way you want to be treated. We go so high off of loyalty. Oh, I'm supposed to be loyal. What is loyalty now? Being faithful. I don't worry about what the next man is doing with the next woman because I don't know what that next woman is adding to that man's life. And one thing as women is, not just women, but men and women, we have not been taught how to deal with our emotions, not even as a child. We were never taught how to handle our emotions because our emotions did not matter.
Right, say that.
So,
Can you say that one more time?
our emotions did not matter. So, our parents have always told us how we feel. We didn't have an opinion.
Right.
We didn't have as long as the bills got paid, that everything was okay. What is we worried for? Why how I felt matter? Why what I thought mattered? It didn't matter. But I was going through stuff. I was dealing with stuff like everybody else. We were dealing with our own emotions and trying to perceive life how we thought. Our grandparents lasted because at the end of the day, y'all have to understand, a lot of our grandmothers was young when they got my great-grandfather was R. Kelly age when he married my grandma. That was 14. So at the end of the day, it was about stability.
Right.
It ain't about that we want to be out here exploring. It's the fact that now we have opinion. No, if somebody not treating me right and you can't love me how I want to love, then move the hell on. Call me a hoe, love them all. I'm going to keep it moving because at the end of the day, why am I going to sit here and let somebody mistreat me? One person don't stop, one monkey don't stop no show. I'm just saying. Especially when you young and nobody taught us how to sit there and love because at the end of the day, our parents made so many mistakes. Because they didn't have nobody teaching them.
Right.
How can somebody teach you love when they didn't know love? They had to grow to love the person that they was with. Our grandparents was growing to love that man who took care of them. And he needed that woman to stay there to have more motherfucking kids for him. At the end of the day, she was a breeder.
Right. Yeah.
She was the person that was supposed to sit in the house and take care of kids. So of course she wasn't tripping about Becky down the street that he got motherfucking pregnant. Why? Because he was providing in his household. As a man that's supposed to. Not only is he providing for my household, but he's providing for her. So what am I gonna question him for if I don't even know how to go out here and do it on my own and he's doing it? So let's just be honest. Now, here's the thing about the disrespect. It's a lot of things. I'm 33 years old. I don't deal with disrespect. I was raised by a man who I watched him hang a painting on the wall, change a tire, cut the grass and everything. And I don't hold no man to his standard. But at the end of the day, men are taught to be men for a reason because you're masculine and you're supposed to do masculine things. Just like I'm supposed to do feminine things. Now, a lot of these bitches are not feminine because they don't do feminine things. But a lot of y'all are not masculine and y'all don't do masculine. Come on, so at the end of the day, don't ask me to be a good woman to you when you ain't being a great man to me. So, if I'm a bitch, your mama gonna be a bitch because I'm a steady bitch. Why she that
bitch? Too much head.
I just feel like when you in a relationship, when people are dealing with trauma, it's people who suffer from abandonment issues, but that's no excuse. You can't blame your father or your mother for not doing what they're supposed to do. Everything is about common sense.
Yes.
And I know common sense ain't so damn common to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, you treat somebody the way you want to be treated.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And that's just facts. So if I'm coming to you and I'm showing you that I love you, love me the way I'm loving you. Just that simple.
Ooh, do they have the capacity?
I like how you said that.
Can I perceive it? No. But here's where the communication goes.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Let's give it up for our bartender. She's been serving us. She got some wisdom to speak.
Okay, so I just want to touch on what the young lady said and what the gentleman said, okay? First of all, a woman should never lower her standards. Never. I don't care what it is, what she's been through, or none of that. That's where I'm at today. And if I lower my standards, I'm gonna have somebody that I'm not happy with. You know, I'm not gonna get the whole package. I already know that. Because nobody's perfect. You can't get everything you want in one package. So you gotta choose, like they say, choose your battles. You have to choose, you know, what's important and what's not. So, with that being said, women never lower your standards. If he don't meet up to what you need him to be, move on. I don't care how long it's been. Like you said, D-Mac, I know right when I get with him, whether I'm going to deal with you tomorrow or not. So guess what? At the age I am, I'm 53 years old. Guess what? I'm not playing with nobody's son today. Nobody's son.
We're doing that.
You know, and I have a daughter.
Say that.
So my thing is, if you can't be what I need you to be, and of course I'm gonna need to be what you need me to be. Why waste each other's time?
If it ain't balanced, it's imbalanced.
Okay.
And it's unhealthy.
Exactly.
An example.
Period.
I think people can grow.
And you can.
People
But see,
can grow.
did you hear what I said? How old people? Yeah, and did you hear how old I told you I was?
I didn't hear that. I didn't want to hear that. You look great.
Why? Thank you.
We twice y'all's age, so our tolerance level is below zero.
I'm not in a hurry. I'm not like
tore,
just
that's why.
putting myself out there looking for anything or anybody. I was making a joke last week and told my sister them, if a nigga say hi to me, it's all we go together.
That's old school.
Just because I do want somebody. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna settle. And I can't settle because I got a 10-year-old.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say something. I think that's why most women are in relationships. I think that's why relationships are a problem.
Amen.
Because women
Amen.
are fucking different.
Yes.
No,
I'm assuming it's around.
Take a shot to that.
I watched my mom. I'm 26. I watched my mom grow up be different. You can't tell me she didn't. You might consider it as I got my expectations and my standards, and I ain't trying to do for shit less. So you better come to the table. Another nigga, and majority of men are going to consider that as motherfucking difficult, because you have to be willing to yes, stand by what you stand by, but be willing to meet me halfway or some shit.
Okay, now
Y'all get it twisted with I got these standards.
Okay, see, you didn't what you wanted to take out of the statement that I made. Exactly. You didn't listen to the whole statement because what did I say? I said nobody is perfect, so you're gonna have to compromise when it comes to those standards.
But you also said, contradicting yourself, that I ain't changing my standards.
I'm not.
Damn.
I'm not. Listen, young men.
Yes, ma'am.
And men and young folks probably old enough to be your mama.
Okay.
Learn how to treat women. Treat them with respect, and you'll get what she has to give. If you don't give it to her, and communicate.
I got a debate.
I ask this question to a lot of women. What do you think most relationships lack? Everybody say communication, trust, honesty, all that. I think it's fun.
Say that!
You hear me? It's fun because y'all so tied into how it's supposed to go, want to work on the communication. Y'all forget to have fun. Because when y'all having fun, all that shit go. Come on, now.
Come on, now.
All that's gonna fall into place. I'm 25, no kid, got my own everything. or even younger, because I feel the mentality isn't on where I am. I'm an old young nigga, for sure though.
Oh, young nigga.
I prefer older women. Somehow, some way, I don't know why.
Why you prefer
That's okay.
I'll be 26. I'll be 26 Valentine's.
Hey, tell him. Hey, Bob.
It's the mentality.
Because I'm very understanding. Very, very understanding. And like I said, I'm very big. Like I said, I'm very big on communication, very understanding. The one thing that I always have a problem, y'all said is like the one thing that I'm gone, I'm that person. One thing I'm gone, especially if I told you already. So, this is the one thing right here. I'm going to tell you my limit right here.
Hold it up.
Come on.
I feel if it includes me, you don't have to report to me, none of that shit. I don't even care what you're doing with anybody. I don't give a damn. You know, your time with me is your time with me for sure though. But if it includes me, informing what's going on. If we supposed to kick it, and you just so happen to whatever, don't not say nothing.
Don't spam me.
Don't just not say nothing. Like I said, I don't care what you I'm fucking with dude with the art for sure. Just get out when you get in.
Communication. That's the key word today. Communication.
I want to hear from Mr. Wells.
Yeah, come to the mic.
Turn up, Zach.
Real women appreciate men.
Talk to that nigga.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Wells.
Mr. Wells.
That's all I gotta say, bro. Y'all can't be playing with our top like that, bro.
Straight up. Stop the game. Listen, stop the game. Stop the game. Talk your shit. Talk your shit, man. Up here. Up here, lady. Up here. Talk your shit, man.
I'm officially home when I get determined. I didn't know the time was
I don't talk. Hey, put a mic up. Say that shit, bro. Put man with our top.
Okay, let's listen to Wealthy.
Put man with our top.
It's his name on his shirt. We don't have name tags, so I'm going by the name on his
Top
shirt.
like that, bro. You can't be playing games with the nigga, bro. Because the nigga is really tee up around this.
Straight up. Straight up. For real, why they game? A nigga might not say that, but they know that though, right?
I'm 23. I was raised by both my mom and my dad.
Okay.
Same house. But like y'all said, you learn from the people you see.
Right.
They told me, have fun.
Right.
When you find that person, you gonna find that person. Until you find that person, have fun.
Right.
And nowadays it's like females
having fun.
Really? You feel me? You want to settle down with a female, but you got these females with bad problems, emotional problems, and they expectations so high that you can't meet them.
Yeah.
So man, like me, like shit, I'm just trying to have fun. I ain't trying to woo. We get there, we get there.
Right.
But I ain't trying to force no situation because ain't nothing's gonna last, and you don't know the future. So until then, bro, we just gonna have to chill until we get to that point.
So wait, what is considered having fun?
Having fun.
Can we
Going
define
on,
Hey, explain the lingo. Explain the lingo. Explain the lingo. Break it down.
I'm gonna tell her like I'm just having fun.
You gotta, you dealing
So
with
you don't
women,
know
so
deeper
you gotta-
relationship.
Not a girl.
No.
Not a girl. The
Just
woman.
jump into a deep
you
relationship.
you
That's what females be wanting. You just soon you take her out. Oh, you my nigga. You can't do nothing else. Damn, I just made you weak ago.
We be wanting to put some like that too at the same time, so you gotta understand.
No.
Once you fuck a bitch, that's not true.
That's not true.
either. And once you, like you said, like
Go to the mic.
you
might already.
Let's go up there.
They dead.
Go ahead, my
Go
baby.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
They got questions.
Go ahead.
Well, who got a question?
No, go
I
ahead.
have a
Nobody.
comment across the board. So you saying stop playing on my top son.
Yeah.
Don't play on my mental,
Yeah.
right? You saying you know you want to have a good time, but people be trying to rush things. He talked about communication. Now it's a point.
That's two. That's two of them. That's two reasons.
I don't remember the other. I apologize. But it was a point in time where we was not boyfriend and girlfriend. We were dating other people. Like it was highly encouraged, and they go date other people. I'm doing my
Gonna have
thing.
fun, I guess. Like whatever that
It wasn't phrased that way. It was phrased like Janae, you know, I care about you. Gonna always be my dog. Always be my dog. But I understand where I'm at. I'm an engineering student at Michigan State. Period. You are a young person who's never had a boyfriend. I want you to enjoy college. And to me,
That's so healthy.
to a man, he basically saying, I'm not trying to be your boyfriend. Get out my face. Go have fun.
Go have fun.
Oh,
I'm doing my thing, so I'm gonna let you do your thing.
You have to be dealing with a woman. So if you want to have fun, say, baby, look, I care about you. I'm not ready for that. This is what I want to do with you.
You can tell a female that nigga still feel like you they nigga.
Let me tell you
Stop
something.
fucking with me.
Look.
Stop fucking with me. What are you doing?
And then they stalk you. But they broke down. That's what they want.
It ain't the fact that you coming up and talking limit. It's the fact that you motherfucking finessed her and told her that you was gonna give her more than what she paid.
I never tell a girl that.
What did she told her?
I never told a girl
One thing for sure, another thing is for certain. Men and women
Think different.
think different,
Yes.
feel different, conduct themselves different, interpret shit different. That's for sure. You ain't never gonna get a group of niggas and a group of bitches to believe that come in the middle and everything just adds up. It is men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I can't remember the name of the author, but that is a real book. And it is really true. The fact of the matter is, when y'all said communication, right? Communication is the biggest issue, right? You said it, my man with the ski mask. I don't see him. Where'd he go? He fucking nerd. He left. The thing about it is, what if we ever decide to try to step out of our gender for a moment?
And I think that's the hardest part.
It is the hardest part, but that is the work that is the work that it takes in order for a dating situation to proceed to a relationship situation, right? So if I had a client, right? I'm a barber. My client came to me like, man, you're distraught. His girlfriend was leaving him everything. Crying everything. I'm talking about tough ass nigga, right? And no, man, listen.
Don't talk about that.
I'm not going to violate his confidence. Hold on a second. I'm not going to violate any confidence. I'm not going to give any names. What I will say is, men open up to who they feel comfortable opening up to. I have had some thug ass, hard ass, strong ass niggas sitting in my chair that felt like I wasn't going to judge them on their emotionality.
But you don't though.
And I don't. They can bring anything to me. And it stays in that chair, and I'm not judging you, but I'm trying to give you some kick. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude came to me, he was like, man, this bitch, you know what I mean? He was just going like, she didn't understand. He was like, I'm doing everything I know to do. He words. Everything
I know
to make her happy. And it ain't never enough, right? And this nigga was like, he was like, man, I'm tired.
You bitch.
I'm doing this, paying off bills.
You bitch.
I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? And I said, I just stopped him. I said, have you ever asked her what she needs from you? Instead of doing just what you know to do? That's where that whole communication piece comes in. Because men think, oh, I'm supposed to get flowers, I'm supposed to open doors, I'm supposed to take you out to eat, I'm supposed to buy you a bag, I'm supposed to do this, and I'm supposed to make sure your hair and nails, I'm supposed to make sure you good out here, and you supposed to be good out here with all that. Nothing more, right, is required. Because I'm doing all that I know based on what society and people that I've been around have taught me. We can buy bitches. Buy her a bag, get her hair done, get her nails done. We ain't gotta be faithful, we ain't gotta be loyal, we ain't gotta be all we gotta do is make sure you're presentable to the public.
Yeah.
Why you with me?
Show it up.
This nigga came in, he was mad as hell. I'm talking about hard stuff. She don't appreciate shit. And I asked him, I said, have you ever asked her what she needs from you in order to feel loved by you? This nigga started crying, I swear to God.
Nah.
The nigga, bro, I swear to God, at first it was tears, and the nigga just started weeping. And I'm like, oh. He said, Mac, I never even thought about it. He said, I never even thought about it. And he's like, I'm doing everything I know to do. I'm doing everything that people have told me you're supposed to do. And this bitch is unappreciative. And it's not that she was unappreciative. She didn't give a fuck about her bag. She didn't give a fuck about no $400 hairdo. She cared about time. You understand what I'm saying? That's the difference between the language of men and the language of women. Men show their love through gifts. Not all. Not all. I'm not gonna say all, and that was just. But a lot of men show their love and their affection and their loyalty through material shit, through gifts. I'm gonna make you look like you a whole dime. I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna build you up and make you look like what I need you to look like, and that hopefully that makes you feel better, but it makes me feel better. But she's sitting over there like, where this nigga at? I can't get a call. Men and women think differently. The problem with dating is that men expect women to respond the way they would, and women expect men to respond the way they would. You have to understand that there is a different dynamic. There is a different level of estrogen and testosterone in these people. I'm not going to act like a bitch. I'm sorry. I'm not going to act like, he's not going to act like a bitch. She's not going to act, I was going to say she's not going to act like a nigga. I had to stop. She's not going to act like a nigga. I'm just saying, we have to recognize the differentiality and the authenticity of the gender. And I'm not just saying between men and women, because you have women and women, it's still a dynamic. You have the feminine woman or the masculine woman, you have feminine, masculine, or even with men, however that works. You still have to recognize that what you think is okay and what you think is enough may not be enough for the next motherfucker. And I think that is the travesty of dating. I'm expecting you from me. I cannot expect you, no, I'm expecting me from you. I cannot expect me from you because you're not me.
Love languages.
But what if you tell somebody, because women, we do this, we express to men exactly how we feel. And they process things differently. They process things differently.
I keep telling her to stop calling me out.
Oh, you don't know these problems.
That's the problem.
Shut it all down.
What's the problem?
She said, as women,
Nah,
we express to men exactly what we want.
you don't want these problems, my baby. You don't even know what's going on. I seen it. I was making sure
That ain't no shit for sure.
Blind of you.
They be like, oh, I'm sad.
Why?
And you supposed to figure that shit out. Like, all right, baby, sad because I did this.
Talk your shit.
Like, I asked you why. You said no.
Talk your shit.
Oh, you won't know?
Asking you why? When did you leave him?
But that's because the lady they think they call it everything. They just very cagey. They think they broke everything down. Very transparent.
What's up, Red Man?
You hear me? He over here speaking shit. See, I was about to say, not only communication is the also it's
A walk in the park ain't bad.
We got two more people behind you. We got two more
Right.
comments.
I've been speaking so much.
I need everybody. Come on, we filmed it. We filmed
What it boiled down to is understanding.
Understand,
My man, we filmed it. I like you.
A lot of people be in relationships with people and don't understand their spouse. Don't understand what they've been through, what they going through, where they come from, how they coming. A lot of people just be in a relationship just to follow other people, to keep up with the trend. Yeah.
We looking at
A lot of people don't realize that it's a real life we live in and people go through real life situations. Like, I was raised with both my mom and my dad. They was married for 32 years. They just got a divorce. I just recently lost my mom two months ago.
Pray for you, bro.
Thank you.
It's okay.
My dad, he's remarried now. He got 2 new kids with his new wife. But a lot of people, that's what it boiled down to for real. A lot of people just don't understand their spouse. Like, people that have been shot, stabbed, lost close loved ones that they used to being with every day. People, all type of stuff. And a lot of people is traumatized, and a lot of people don't know and don't know how to understand a person. So that's what it really boiled down to for real. Understanding. You gotta understand your spouse. You gotta step out of your shoes. You gotta step out of what you used to and put yourself in your spouse's shoes and understand. I haven't been through this. I don't know. So a lot of people don't understand. That's what it all boiled down to. Understand.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you put it all in one word, boy. East side.
Why you ain't on the panel, bro? I swear, if I knew you, you'd be sitting up here with us because you went a little bit deeper than we've gone at the table, right? Because people present based upon their life experience, right? And so you went through all this, that, and the other. This person went through all this, that, and the other. You bringing these 2 traumatized, hurt individuals to the table. And ain't nobody talking about shit. Ain't nobody telling nobody what they've been through so that they can understand that shit. You understand? And so everything is misunderstood in the process of communication. You understand what I'm saying? I'm so, Orange Hat. I got nicknames for my guests. You Orange Hat.
My name's Jeremiah.
There you go.
Okay, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, like I ain't Orange Hat. I want my credit. Jeremiah just gave us a profound statement. We have to recognize, we can't recognize it unless it's communicated to us. You have to talk to me. Part of the dating process is discovery. I don't know anybody in here who is familiar with the criminal justice system, but process before you get to trial, there's a process of discovery. We gotta put all the shit on the fucking table before we even have this trial, before we call a fucking witness. But we don't, and we as individuals, we don't come in putting shit on the table because and everybody's not worthy of the table. Number one. Everybody shouldn't have your history. Nope. Number one. That's not for everybody. If you feel like this is somebody you feel like you can vibe with, you can grow with, you feel like might see a future with, start sharing a little bit more so that they understand why you are why you are who you are. And then they will have more grace in times when you tripping. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, she tripping because it might be because of that, and it just might be, I just might have ticked it off. You know, you might have a little bit more understanding if you understand where they came from. And we're gonna peace out on that note.
I get my cheese, I don't really fuck with red. Pussy jacket on my mood, in a club with a baby now. Full of hollers looking for a slim thick bitch. They wanna swallow where the fuck is the waitress at? With my bottles, everybody in this bitch stepping on my Ferragamo's. I'm a hood rich nigga, I don't need ID. This boy little cousin pussy up in VIP. Every time I go wild, I do the B.I.G. 10 bands tied up in my PRP. Shake that ass, let me see.